this is our Pyon setup. We've got a little jug with a tube that goes into the heater, and then the tube of warm milk comes out and goes through the little tubes into the nipples out front. And if they hadn't just eaten, they would be having a good time. So Gwen is gonna get everything cleaned up.
Sorry, Rod.
So how she starts is she irritates all the babies. Yeah, you're okay, buddy.
Sorry, Rod.
Unscrews the nipples so we can clean them.
Oh, you're gonna get that for me? Thank you.
And dude, you're not helping.
Okay.
Puts a little dish soap from like dishwasher soap, so low suds, into the water, so we have nice hot 140 degree if you can find it water. Mush it around a bit. You can use powdered or liquid, it doesn't really matter, just as long as there's soap. She pulls them off the things.
It's gonna get cleaned at some point.
And she cleans off the metal tubing, and then she has to clean off the nipple side too. Wash that really good to make sure that milk residue and all that's off of there. And she does both of them.
Try not to sizzle my arm with the heat lamp.
The heat lamp's a little close, so she's getting a little toasty, but
As long as I don't touch the metal of it, I'll be fine.
she needs a little sun anyway. She pulls the tube out of the milk. Sets it off to the side so we don't dump it. Wipe all the tubes clean.
Oh, that's terrible. I broke it. Okay.
Got pieces put back together. We've got a little hose end that's a 3/8 to a 1/4 inch to attach to the tubing.
Almost, mostly.
On a little pump. You put the other end of the pump in the water. And you get that soapy water to go all the way through the system. At high velocity. The higher the velocity, the better. It gets all that crap out of there. And then after you do it with soap, make sure the ends are in there, or you make a big wet mess.
And the cat
then-
would be happy.
And the cat who lives in here would be super unhappy. But yeah, after you do this for a minute, 2 minutes,
So your arm gets sore?
till your arm gets sore, and then you use the acid rinse to do the rest of it. You do the acid rinse with the same thing, and you always have to use acid rinse because otherwise it's just not going to come clean if you don't. You get all the tubes clean, and you use the little straw brush and make sure to get the inside of those tubes cleaned. Poke the baby.
Hi, Teeny. Hi, Teeny.
You poke Miss Teeny because she won't move, and she's like, what? And she snorts and she rubs her ear and has a big fit.
I do these like around daytimes. Just
I do too. You really gotta clean them out well.
make sure you keep this straight, because if you bend it, it's
You can buy a new one.
Now you get to put everything back together. These clear ones float well, but the rubber ones don't.
So we use the clear ones the first few days. Just make sure they have that squared off flange on the bottom or they won't fit. We get ours from TSC. They're a control flow lamb valve or lamb nipple.
This is what the Y valve is supposed to look like.
Yeah. And then after you clean everything, you put it all back together. And if you're only using 2 nipples and you have little ones, it's better to split one than to run 2 through the machine. Unless you're having really cold temperatures, they just don't drink enough in the evening to keep everything moving. So, yeah. I'm trying to get one back up. And if your hoses are really cold, because it's, you know, all of 22 degrees outside,
They will shrink.
they will get hard and you will have to use your muscles.
Keep them up a little.
The silicone, if you have silicone ones, they will work a little quicker and easier. And see, these guys have only been trained to this machine for a couple of days.
And they're already complaining.
And they're already complaining about the poor service.
That one went on easier because I didn't have to cut it. It's been
Yep.
trained.
It was already bent.
It's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. It will be ready. Stash. Ow! Penis!
That is the hardest part, is getting the kids to not just be ridiculous. Because even though they ate 20 minutes ago, they're
the milk's
dying.
Right here.
It's not even attached yet.
Idiot children.
And definitely put up some kind of very small, that they can't get their feet through, wire, cage wire behind this, or a flat panel of some sort, or they will be eating everything. They eat all the tubes, they play with everything, so you got to make sure they cannot get into this space. You clean everything. In the fresh milk. And away you go.
I'm gonna need to give them more milk.
Yep.
And if they're being particularly fussy about, I mean, they're making it work, but if they're upset about, like, if the milk's not coming through fast enough, you can pump it through with your valve.
Yeah,
Or
with
you
the
can-
machine.
Or you can just let them go for it. Go for it.
It takes. Yes. Happy babies. Tail wagging good time. So yeah, only 6 of these babies are on the machine. The rest of them are just, you know, being ridiculous. And then the mamas come in and collect their children and try to get them nursed. And they just sleep.